Hi, Lori Stevens here. I wanted to talk a little bit about dental x-rays. And many patients come to a holistic practice and they are nervous about or don't want to get dental x-rays. And so the explanation that I give is that an undiagnosed dental infection is much more dangerous to your health than the amount of radiation you're going to get from even a full set of dental x-rays. So the amount of radiation you're going to get from a full set of dental x-rays done correctly would be equivalent to watching TV in your living room about 6 feet away from the TV for about an hour. So some of the things that we do in our office to ensure that you have the maximum protection from any radiation will be things like using a lead apron that has the collar for the thyroid, and basically we're going to put that really tight up around your neck and not really choke you, but make it really tight so that the thyroid is well covered. The thyroid is a very easily damaged organ, and we want to be sure and keep that radiation away from the thyroid, particularly in growing children. But everybody's thyroid is important. One of the other things is that we have rectangular collimation so that the round x-ray head doesn't put any extra radiation around just the sensor, which the film is about rectangle about like this. So a big circle of radiation would be reduced to just the size of the sensor so that you don't get any scatter radiation from a bigger beam of radiation. Also, the head of the x-ray unit should be right up to the face. If you have that x-ray beam coming out here, it's obviously going to spread out to a bigger area. So the x-ray head should be right up to the face so that there's no scatter radiation. One of the other things is we use a homeopathy, which is just a frequency of radiation that if you think of the idea of like versus like cures like, the idea that sort of like bee venom treats a bee sting. So that's how homeopathy works. So a homeopathy for x-ray used after x-rays have been taken then would help to cancel that frequency. So a full set, which would be individual x-rays of the roots of the teeth, 2 on the upper posterior, 2 on the lower posterior, and then eye tooth, front tooth, eye tooth, front tooth, eye tooth, and then some cavity finding x-rays, a series of about 20, is really about the same radiation as an hour's worth of TV and much less radiation than you get from cell phones. So it's very important to know if you have an infection or an abscess in your mouth, because that is a constant drain on your immune system and can do much more damage as far as spreading infection through your body than the amount of radiation you get from x-rays. I'm very conservative about x-rays in my practice, and we take x-rays on a very individual basis. And so we want to protect everybody from unnecessary radiation, especially young children. I don't typically x-ray kids younger than 6 at all unless there's some problem, and not even after 6 unless we see some idea that there might be a cavity going or something we need to check on. So I'm very conservative. It's prescribed on a very individual basis, and I just want to alleviate some of the fears that patients have, because you're much better off to know you've got an abscess. And even on my own mother-in-law, we did just a set of x-rays. One time she wasn't having any symptoms. She wasn't having swelling or toothache or anything, but we found an abscess that had been totally asymptomatic. But an abscess in people that have, say, a heart valve is a very important thing because you don't want to get that heart valve infected. So you're better off to know you've got an infection than to just never have dental x-rays. So if there are any more questions, I'd be glad to answer any other specific questions. You feel free to call us at our toll-free number 1-877-983-0123 or our local number here in Gainesville, 770-983-0123.